Kaelin decided to start her scrutiny where the anomaly was most pronounced, among the laborers themselves. She spent the next several hours observing, her datapad charting patterns of movement, micro-expressions, even vocal intonations as workers communicated. What she saw only deepened her unease. There was no casual banter, no shared exhaustion, no furtive glances at the clock. Each interaction was brief, functional, and devoid of emotional resonance. When she approached a group during a shift change, attempting a casual conversation, she was met with polite, almost vacant stares. "Hard work, isn't it?" she ventured to a woman wiping grime from her forehead, a faint smile playing on the worker's lips. "It is our duty, auditor," the woman replied, her voice soft, almost melodic, and a privilege to contribute to the Emperor's grand design. There was no hint of irony, no trace of coerced obedience, only a profound, unwavering belief in her own words. It was like speaking to a particularly well-programmed automatron, yet these were living, breathing humans. Later, she confronted Theron again, her voice firm. "Foreman, I've reviewed your shift logs and the official welfare reports. They paint a picture of contented diligence. Yet what I'm observing, it borders on an ideological fervor. People don't just become this compliant, especially not in these conditions, without significant external influence." Theron sighed, his gaze drifting over the same bustling floor. "Auditor, these people are committed. They found their place. Perhaps the administratum's perspective from the core worlds doesn't fully grasp the simple, honest dedication of an outer system mining commune." His words were dismissive, yet Kaelin noticed a faint tremor in his hand as he gestured. Perhaps, Kaelin conceded, her eyes narrowing, or perhaps the administratum understands manipulation when it sees it. "This sense of purpose you speak of, Foreman, where does it truly originate? Is it preached? Implanted? And if so, how?" She tapped her datapad, bringing up a complex algorithm of psychological profiling. "My preliminary analysis suggests a pervasive, low-frequency psionic dampening field, or something similar, influencing cognitive functions. Or at the very least, an unprecedented level of constant, subtle conditioning." Theron's eyes widened almost imperceptibly, a flash of fear replacing his usual resignation. He quickly composed himself, a forced chuckle escaping his lips. "Psionics? Auditor, you're delving into fanciful notions. This is a mining world, not a cult outpost. We have no psychers, no forbidden technologies, just hard work and loyalty." He turned away abruptly, feigning interest in a minor malfunction on a nearby processing unit. Kaelin knew he was lying, or at least withholding information vital to her inquiry. The sudden shift in Theron's demeanor, his quick dismissal, only confirmed her suspicions. This wasn't merely about tithe compliance anymore. This was about something far more insidious, something that twisted the very will of humanity into a tool for unimaginable output. Her next step would not be to audit ledgers, but to find the source of this unsettling tranquility, no matter how deeply buried it was beneath the surface of Veltha's crown. The golden light around the Christ of mankind, which had once burned with such incandescent power, now flickered, a dying ember against the encroaching shadow. His form, though still radiating an otherworldly peace, seemed more translucent with each passing moment, his essence pouring out into the shattered world like water from a cracked vessel. Commander Kael gripped his plasma rifle, his knuckles white, watching the scene unfold from a ruined battlement. "He's giving too much, Elara," he rasped, his voice raw with a mix of awe and dread. "This cannot be sustained. He will vanish." Elara, her face streaked with grime, but her eyes fixed on the divine figure, placed a hand gently on his arm. "No, Kael," she whispered, her voice surprisingly steady. "He is not vanishing. He is becoming. He is the sacrifice." The Christ of mankind turned his gaze, not towards Lord Valerius, who stood rigid, an unreadable mask, but across the ravaged landscape, meeting the eyes of every trembling survivor, every bewildered soldier, every monstrous entity of chaos. A silent understanding passed between them. A final, profound breath seemed to ripple through the air, and with it, the golden light around him surged one last, blinding time. It wasn't an explosion, but an implosion, a magnificent folding in of divinity. His physical form dissolved, not into nothingness, but into pure light, which then dispersed, not fading, but weaving itself into the very fabric of Xylo's prime. A gasp collectively rose from the ground forces. The guttural roars of the demon engines sputtered into silence. Above, the aerial horrors, which had moments ago been diving with predatory glee, suddenly faltered, their dark wings beating erratically as if struck by an invisible force. Then, they simply began to retreat, not in a panicked flight, but in a strange, almost reluctant withdrawal, as if an unseen barrier had been erected, pushing them back into the void from which they came. The bombardments, the relentless thunder that had defined their lives, ceased. An eerie, profound silence descended, broken only by the distant whirring of some abandoned machinery, a testament to the war that had just been. Lord Valerius, for the first time, showed a crack in his rigid composure, a flicker of something akin to bewilderment, perhaps even reluctant awe, crossing his face. What remained was not an empty void, but a profound, almost palpable sense of peace. It settled over Xylo's prime like a gentle mist, cooling the scorched earth, quieting the pounding hearts of the survivors. Where the Christ of mankind had stood, a faint, golden aura now shimmered, a residual energy that permeated the air, a warmth that seemed to soothe ancient wounds. It was a fragile thing, this newfound tranquility, easily shattered by a single misstep, a solitary act of malice. But it was there. It was a promise, a beacon against the perpetual night of the grim dark galaxy. Kale looked at Alara, a question in his eyes. "What now?" he murmured, the words almost lost in the silence. Alara smiled, a faint, hopeful curve on her lips. "Now," she said, her voice filled with quiet conviction, "we build." With the light he left us. It was not just light. It was an echo of his boundless love, a seed planted in the desolation, daring to sprout amidst the ruins, offering a chance, however slim, for a different future. The war was over, but a new, quieter struggle had just begun, the preservation of this fragile, precious hope.